Hi, this is Fernando. In this video tutorial, I want to share with you 3 useful tips of VRay. The first tip is about image sample. I found that in the forum we have a bunch of issue with the noise, some weird noise in the image sample or in the scene, especially when you have blurry reflections and refractions. Basically, that issue is because the image sample. In order to show you what issue I'm talking about, I'm going to change the image sample to adaptive subdivision and make my first render. I'm going to click render and pause the video to save time. Here we go. This is the final render. As you can see here, we have a weird spot noisy on my ceiling. This is because my wall texture have some reflections. Also, you can see how ugly is my floor in terms of noise. This is because we have a bad anti-aliasing solution. Remember that the anti-aliasing not only affect the edges of the geometry, but also the textures, the reflection and refractions. That's why we have this kind of noisy. So that means that the image adaptive subdivision is not a good solution when you have refractions, and blurry reflections and depth of field. So instead of using adaptive subdivision, we should use adaptive DMC in our image sample solution. So I'm gonna make another render and pause the video again. Here we go. This is the final render. As you can see, we don't have the blurry reflection that we had before. So the noise, the weird noise that we had before, my scene is clean and better. So tips number 1, if you have blurry reflection, refraction material, depth of field, you should use adaptive DMC instead of adaptive subdivision. Okay, the next tips is about samples in VRay maps, and I'm going to make a close-up of the legs. The sample in the VRay maps basically blurry the samples, the solution. If you increase this sample too much, you can blur too much the solution, and you can erase some shadows, especially the contact shadows on the floor, and the shares should appear floating in the air. So I'm gonna make my first render by letting the samples to 20, and also I'm going to override, because it's better to see when I have override my material in my scene. I'm going to override my material and create my first render. Okay, I'm going to pause the video. Here we go. This is the final render. You can see here in my render how I have a bunch of contact shadows here. In every single leg I have contact shadows. You see a bunch of contact shadows here. So this is because my sample are not blurry my shadows in terms of erase the shadows. Okay, so I'm going to increase the samples to 90. I do that because we have a bunch of users that do that in order to avoid the splotchiness in the wall, but this is not the right solution. Maybe you have to increase the hemisphere subdivision or also the minimum rate in order to avoid the splotchiness on the wall and not increase too much the sample, because you can erase the shadows as well. So I increase the samples to 20, and I'm going to make another render. Here we go. This is the final render. As you can see here, these legs and also these legs and even this one appear to be floating in the air. You can see here they don't have any contact shadows at all. Neither this one. I want to show you the difference between this image when I increase samples to 90 and the other image. I think it's this one. You can see the contact shadows here, contact shadows, and also contact shadows here. The difference between this one and this one, hopefully you can appreciate in the video. But you can see contact shadows and no contact shadows. So this is going to help you to get your object in the floor. Second tips, do not increase too much the samples because you can blurry or erase some shadows, especially on the small details. Okay, and the last tips is in terms of the material. Okay, in terms of the material, we have a lot of questions about how to tint the reflections in the material. Some users try to tint the reflection using the reflections color. And this is the tips. The reflections color is not to tint the reflection, it's just to change the amount of reflections. You can use mapping inside the reflections in order to control the amount of reflection, like a Fresnel's effect. Or also you can have a flat reflections without any texture at all, and just control the amount of reflection using the color here of the reflections. White is completely reflective, and black is completely opaque, right? Black is completely opaque. But if you want to control or to tint the reflections a little bit, I'm going to use a medium gray, so I have a kind of reflections. But if you want to tint the reflection, you have to use a filter. For example, I'm going to use an orange filter. Now I can tint the reflections. You can see the area where I have reflections now are orange. If I reduce the blurriness to 0.75, I still tint the reflections a little bit. If I use a Fresnel's, right, to create metals, more than 3 are metals. I'll click a preview. Now I can get kind of anodized material. Okay, just use the filter to tint the reflections and not the reflections color. Okay, this is the third tips. Hopefully, I hope you can enjoy this video, and this is all what I have for you today. Okay, bye bye, see you next time.